Court TV anchor Jenae. Julia is going to be hosting a special hour starting next hour as we ramp up to this sentencing hearing. Let's start with the latest we're hearing from the defense about who will be there supporting Donna today. What have you learned?
Yeah, Ted, this just hit the docket. The defense filed a notice to the court with a list of people who are offering their support. So this doesn't actually mean that they are going to be speaking inside of the courtroom, but they offered letters and emails. There were 7 different people who they filed letters. This is for Judge Everett to take into consideration. And here are a couple of them. This is a young lady, Dr. Ruth Rosenberg, who said that she's someone who emigrated from Israel when she was 12 years old, didn't understand the language, and she said Donna helped her. For several months in school, she said she sat by herself at lunchtime in the cafeteria, staring at Donna and her friends, when Donna walked over to the table and asked them to join her. And that kind gesture, she says to the judge, started a 62-plus-year friendship. And she ended this letter by saying, the situation that Donna is in today is unimaginable. That is not the person I know and love. Now, another letter was actually submitted by someone who is a newer friend or relative of Donna Adelson. She is the grandmother of the child of Charlie, so they share a grandchild. And she said in her letter, Charlie Adelson surprised his mom with the news that he and my daughter Brianna were expecting a baby. It warmed my heart to watch Donna's genuine excitement and happiness. Our families began to spend time together, and I recall Donna being warm and welcoming. And as I got to know her more, there was no doubt in my mind that she was a loving and devoted wife, mother, and grandmother. And although Charlie and Brianna were no longer a couple beyond the baby's first year, we all remained close. She's been kind, thoughtful, loving, and generous. So interesting to hear from that side of Donna's family. Ted, that's someone we really haven't heard from throughout this trial, but we have heard about Charlie having a son and him really having a difficult time in prison because he understands he's missing out on his son's life. This was a son that was born long after the death of Dan Markell. Now, we do expect that there may be some people who talk inside of this courtroom, or these letters could be it. But we know we heard from friends during this trial who got into a little bit of Donna's character. Ann Cunningham is one of them. Take a listen.
Have you found her to be a hateful person?
Never.
Is she aggressive towards others?
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten anyone?
Never.
Have you ever seen her harm anyone?
Never.
Have you ever heard her threaten to have somebody harmed?
No.
Did she ever make statements to you? Well, let me ask you this first. You were friends with her, obviously, when Wendy was going through her divorce.
Yes.
During that time period, through the divorce, and up to the time that Danny Markell was killed, you're aware that he was murdered?
Yes, I am.
Okay. At any time during that period, did she ever say she wanted to have Danny Markell killed?
Never.
Ever say she wanted him to be harmed?
Never.
Now, Donna Adelson should be making her way, if she's not already, in the courthouse behind me here in Leon County. And all we have gotten at this point from her attorneys is that it's likely she will be addressing the judge today, Ted.
Let's talk sentencing range. What are we expecting here?
Life in prison. That is what we're expecting the judge to say because it is a mandatory sentence for that top charge of first-degree murder. But she also has been convicted of conspiracy and solicitation to commit murder, and those have more of a range, so he will have to decide on those. And you've got a defense that may be hoping that there is going to be on appeal a throwing out of perhaps that top charge. So that's when those lower charges could become important if they are the ones that then become the top charge. We don't know, but we don't expect to hear from live in person Dan Markell's parents. They did speak right at the verdict. At the time where this verdict came down, you see Donna Adelson's reaction there, but they are in Canada, so they won't likely be here in person. They will be here via Zoom. But I do want to take a look back at Ruth Markell speaking after the verdict.
Prior to her arrest, Donna's recorded phone calls with Charlie reveal their lack of a moral compass or capacity for self-reflection. She blames external forces for her family's curse. They're outside of her, but she is the curse, and lashes out angrily at witnesses who took the brave step to testify. Her modus operandi has always been to run from Tallahassee and then to try to flee to Vietnam. For our family, there is no such prospect for escape. Danny's absence, and that leaves a hole at the center of our lives, no matter where we go.
No more running from Donna Adelson, Ted. And I also am going to be looking forward to what Judge Everett says. You know, he's been so measured throughout this trial. Sentencing is really the chance for the judge to then address the defendant. We don't always talk about that or anticipate it, but that's something that could be very interesting in this sentencing.
Yes, definitely. Judge Everett has been a treat watching him over the years with all of these trials, including this last one. The question that people have now is, of course, we always look forward. We always want to know what's next, what's on the horizon. What about charges on the? Is this it for Georgia Cappleman and team, or is there another chapter?
Now, you know, we'll be asking her that question once this is over for sure. Now, what she said a little over a month ago was that we could stay tuned, that there may be something else to pay attention to, but she did not make any confirmation about whether or not there'll be charges. The big question is Wendy Adelson, the daughter of this defendant, the ex-wife of the victim, whether or not she's going to face charges. We don't expect her to be inside of this courtroom. She has not attended any portion of a trial that didn't involve her own testimony on the stand, which she had to under subpoena, and she was granted immunity from that, but she did not get immunity from charges at all. If they are able to get evidence against her that doesn't involve her testimony or something that was derived from her testimony, then charges could come. But we have been checking the docket often, Ted, and have not seen that any charges have been filed or a grand jury indictment has come down.
And that will, of course, be the topic of conversation once everything concludes today. Julia, we look forward to your coverage coming up next hour as we ramp up and get ready for the sentencing of Donna Adelson.